It's time we start realizing that there's more to designing and decorating your home than just the obvious like shopping list and furniture. It is so significant to nurturing you on your life's journey that it's time we start to really appreciate what it is and what we bring into it and everything associated with it. Today, we are getting into creating the trends and not following them. This is how you can awaken your creative spirit and start creating new things, new ideas, new concepts in interior design that we have not seen before. And trust me, we all need you. We need you to create new beauty into the world. So let's jump into it. When was the last time you were truly inspired by something that you saw a designer do? Like you saw it and you're like, this is not something I've seen before. Wow, this is really impressive. This is unique. This is amazing. I want you to think about that and ponder on that, because in my personal experience, there's not a lot of things that we have seen that have truly surprised us. And I feel like part of that is because of there's such a wealth of information available online, whether social media, Pinterest, whatever, that we're just kind of being saturated with a lot of the same imagery. And so the number one thing I would say to you in order to kind of get this creative juice flowing and this ability to create trends and not follow them would be to look for other resources to get inspired by. And if you saw my video Be Different, then you know what I'm talking about. And I give you a few of my pointers there. If you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out after this one, because I kind of scratched the surface of that, which I want to dive into. Excuse me, my voice. I want to dive into that a little bit more here. There are so many ways to get creative and so many ways to be inspired. One of the most unusual ways that I get inspired for interior design is through food. I know that probably sounds weird, but I don't think it's really weird if you think about it in terms of color palettes, because when you look at, like, say, for example, gourmet food, there is a great amount of thought and consideration taken into the way the food not only tastes, I'm just talking purely visual here, but not just the way the food tastes, but also the way it looks. Like, for example, and if you're a vegan, I apologize for this visual, but I'm going to talk about meat. Okay, I'm sorry. But visualize like a steak on a white plate that has been cut open, and you can see that it's a rare or a medium rare steak. And so you can see the variation of color through that piece of meat on a plate. I know it sounds weird, but think about the colors that you are seeing. The sort of pink, the sort of red, sort of almost purple color, and the brown and the white. You'll see this variation in color. These colors as a color palette in a room would look incredible. Think about food and why we think food is so appealing, because it looks beautiful. Now, I'm talking about like gourmet food or beautiful food. I've had salads where the colors were just like, wow. You could incorporate those colors into a room and you suddenly have a unique and different color palette. I used, what is it called? Full grain mustard. I think that's what it's called, but it's the mustard with the little mustard seeds inside as inspiration for a color palette before. So you can pull really interesting color palettes from things that are totally unlikely. Next time you take a look at your food, see if you can find some color palette choices in there. See like what you're drawn to, and if those colors would be colors that you can inject in a room. I'm not saying it's like a overall across the board, but what I want you to do is just get creative in unlikely places. Also, explore older interior design magazines and interior design books. The amazing thing about that is you can get these for next to nothing in a thrift store. And there are typically a lot of these. But I want you to explore things like that. I've talked to you before about exploring art books. Art books are great. You know, another great thing for art books, and I purchased an art book in a thrift store yesterday because I really liked some of the prints of the artwork in the book. Now, I'm not saying cut up all your books, but you can take a piece from that art book, mat it and frame it, and now you suddenly have a piece of art for a book that you bought for $3. So I'm just saying there are ways to get creative and use artwork that is not like stuff you buy at Home Goods or Target or whatever, things like that, like mass-produced artwork. So I digress a little bit, but just saying, okay, that there are a lot of ways that you can see the world differently. If you see the world differently, then you're going to come up with new ideas and new thoughts and new not new creativity, but new design that we've not seen before. I just want to say that for most of us, when we were kids, we didn't follow certain rules when it came to coloring in things, or drawing. Meaning, if we loved the color purple, we were going to color everything purple. Purple house, purple tree, purple flowers, purple sun, purple clouds, purple birds. You know, everything was purple, and we felt good about it. We were happy with our creation. Now, granted, some point in our lives, we started changing the way we think, changing the way we see things, and we started creating boxes that we put ourselves in. And we started looking towards others to tell us what is good and what we should do, and at the cost of our own creative, intuitive voice that exists within inside of us. What I want to do with you and want to help guide you is to reawaken that creative voice so that you are creating things that didn't exist in the world before. Trained designers, this is what they do. They have many ways of stirring that creative pot within themselves so that they can come up with new ideas, new combinations, mixing materials that you wouldn't see before, repurposing things that may not even be furniture to begin with, just opening themselves up to the possibilities. And that's what I want you to. I want you to move forward with non-judgment. I want you to look at interior design that is not your typical sort of go-to design. Meaning, if you're a maximalist, look at minimalism. If you're a minimalist, look at maximalism. What can you learn from that? Don't just completely shut yourself off from exploring those styles, because there are things that you could learn from them and come up with and create something unique to yourself. Let's let go of labels, because I think labels, while they're great to identify a certain style, we don't need to create from a label perspective. Do you know what I mean? I think you're better off creating from a sort of dream board or vision board rather than a label like my style is fill in the blank. I would like for you to let go of that. I don't believe in using a label as a direction. What I do believe is in finding visual elements that speak to you, that connect you on an emotional level, that inspire you to create a space that's in alignment with those elements that are on your sort of vision board. And ideally, I want you to create it in physical form, not just on Pinterest, because you know what happens? You just click on too many things, you pin too many things, and you end up with way too many things that just like, do you ever reference it? Is it overwhelming? Is it going in too many different directions? What I want you to do is make yourself a nice cup of tea or a nice latte on a Saturday or a Sunday morning. And I want you to get all your design magazines, and maybe you just print out some things that you see on the internet that you like, but you get out all your pieces of paper and your magazines and your books and whatnot of things that you are okay with cutting up and your other miscellaneous things, because it doesn't have to just be paper. It can be three-dimensional things. Like me, I'd probably put a stick on it, but start accumulating these things and putting this on a board. If you can't put it on a board, maybe you put it all together and you take a picture of it, and then you print that picture and you stick it on the wall. And that is your creative direction. That is not the label that guides you of what's a label? I am industrial, or I can't even think of a label. I'm so anti-label, I can't even think of a label. What organic modern? Okay, there we go. That's a very widely known, but instead of using, oh, I'm organic modern, no, drop that label and start going with things that feel right, that you have some kind of attraction to, that you have an emotional connection to, and use that as your guide. So this vision sort of board, this manifestation board, this mood board is your guiding light, your guiding force, the beacon that you're moving in the direction towards when you're creating your home or your space. Ooh, learn to break the rules. Okay. Well, first you have to learn the rules, and then you have to learn how to break them. Now, there are some foundational rules that really, I think, are important because they help us to create a space and fully utilize the space. I'm having a hard time talking today. Help us to fully utilize the space so that we're getting the most out of our space. So I do think there are some design rules that are really good for that. But then there are some rules that you can totally have fun with and play with. I mean, it is your space. So in my opinion, you create the rules. This is your space, and you are creating the space for you. So you are really the rule maker. There are some foundational things that could really help you out in terms of utilizing the space to the best of its ability and highlighting and accentuating the positives while learning to work with those things that are labeled as negative. But at the end of the day, you make the rules. One of my favorite things, and it's not going to sound like a favorite thing when I say it, or it may not be a favorite thing to you, but is working with limitations. Limitations have pushed me to be more creative than I even thought possible. And those limitations have sort of stretched my creativity, and sort of that is how I've come up with new ideas. So don't be afraid of limitations. Learn how to work with them. Sometimes limitations can even be highlighted and accented, so it's like you fully embrace the limitation. Like, say, for example, you have a small, dark room that doesn't get a lot of natural light. It faces north. You don't get the best light. It's not a very big space. Perhaps you want to just embrace that and paint the whole room in a dark color and create this amazing little moody space, moody special moment within this space that, you light a candle and it's just wow, people come over, they're like, ooh, this room, I wouldn't expect this, but it looks great. Sometimes our creativity is ignited even more by these limitations. So don't shy away from them. Learn how to work with them or learn how to work around them, but have fun in the process and allow yourself to see a limitation as something that's going to really, truly expand your creativity and bring something out of you that did not exist before. It's a really great opportunity if you let it be. What makes it unique is your level of creative sensitivity and actually tapping into that creativity and channeling it into what you do. And when I mean to what you do, I'm talking about how you curate spaces. But in order to do that, that sensitivity is key. So a lot of designers, they just have a natural innate ability to feel sensitive to spaces and to recognize when things are off balance straight away, or they just intuitively know that this will work in harmony with each other. And so they make choices from this place. And I feel like those are the designers that I personally really appreciate, because they're tapping into like their authenticity. They're tapping into what makes them unique. And so their designs are a reflection of that. And you can also access this sensitivity. I want you to start looking at things differently. Just like we talked about the food, like gourmet food for color palettes, there is an abundance of inspiration all around you. If you are inspired by this video, definitely check out Skip the Trends and I Just Want a Homey Home and Be Different. I think those 3 videos start to really lay the foundation for what we're going to be doing here on this channel. I want to teach you so much, and then I want you to just create. Above all, enjoy the journey with this. This is not something you have to race to the finish line. I used to race to get it done because what I wanted to do was just get it done, make it look amazing so we can just enjoy it. But what I was really doing was I was setting myself up for the next thing that I would do. I never allowed myself to enjoy it. And so just like life, it's about the journey. It's about the memories that we accumulate along the way. It's about the experiences that we accumulate along the way. It's about that memory of that Sunday afternoon that you and your best friend or you and your partner went out and went antiquing and you found this great table that you didn't expect to find, or that time you popped into a thrift store on your lunch break and you bought this really cool sculptural thing that you have no idea what it is, but you just had to have it. And so now it's hanging in your living room. True story, by the way, because I'm going to hang it up this weekend. But it's things like that, things that I will remember in my journey of when I found that, where I sourced that, the people I connected with, the memories I have with that, where we went to eat after. Like all of these things are part of your history and part of your story. And it's time we start making that important too. It's time we start realizing that there's more to designing and decorating your home than just the obvious like shopping list and furniture rearrangement. This is a part of your life, and I don't take it lightly. This is important. This is your life. This is your home. And so I'm honored that you are here with me on your journey. We're kind of on a journey together. So I'm so grateful for you. And if you haven't already subscribed, definitely do so. I bring you new content every Sunday. I'm all about inspiring you to be your own unique self, not following trends. And that's what I continue to do for you all as we move forward. This is your home. This is your space. This is your haven. This is the place where you get inspired. This is a place where you sleep. This is a place where you recharge your batteries. This is a place where you love your family or you love your partner, or it's your place all by yourself. Finally, it is so significant to nurturing you on your life's journey that it's time we start to really appreciate what it is and what we bring into it and everything associated with it. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be enjoyable. It's supposed to be a pleasure. It's not supposed to feel like a task that is daunting or stressful. I understand we're going to have stressful moments in the process, but the reality of it is it's a beautiful experience. How lucky are we to have a home and to be able to create, to be able to design it, to be able to fill it with things that we love? How fortunate we are. And on that note, I wish you a beautiful, creative, wonderful week. Sending you so much love from New York. Mwah.